Hey, everybody, this is Karen. Thank you so much for being on tonight. It's an honor tonight for me to bring an incredible group of leaders who are going to host the call tonight. And I just want to first say how grateful I am for every single one of you. I'm grateful for where God has put everybody all around us. We are absolutely changing so many people's lives, and we don't do that by ourselves. We do that with the mercy of God. We do that because He brings the right people around us. And I'm just grateful for each one of you. So I am going to turn the Zoom over tonight to our Blue Diamond, my dear friend, Mark Klassen, who is rocking his business and making such an impact on so many people's lives. So, with that, Mark, I'm going to go on mute and I thank you so much. Kendall, if you can unmute him, that would be great. And I am grateful for you and thank you for sharing your heart with us tonight.
Thank you, Miss Karen Ford, and we're so. I speak for all of us. We're so thrilled just looking at your beautiful face and your picture here, knowing that you came through another surgery, and we're praying for you, and you're just a warrior and an overcomer. And so, look at you, like you're like 4 or 5, not even a week out of knee replacement, and you're on this Zoom. Like that's commitment, my friend. And leaders go first, and you lead us well. So thank you for putting this training on every Tuesday night. I hear comments all the time that this is like a real meat and potatoes. It's one of their favorite Zooms of the week because people actually learn tangible steps from what you bring to the table here on Tuesday night. So thank you for that. Yeah, we're excited about. And honestly, I think it could be a culture call too, because you do that so well. You create an incredible culture, and we know that people thrive in a positive, uplifting culture and community. And so, again, thanks for loving us so well and for putting us on. And I hope I can make you proud. As your work husband. I hope I can make you proud tonight and bring some value to the team. So, with that, guys and gals, we're gonna have a fun 30, 45 minutes here. We got a great lineup for you. It's gonna be a mixture of some stories, facts tell, stories sell. We're in a sharing business, right? So I thought it'd be fun if we brought in some, success stories recently, and we can celebrate those accomplishments at the same time and learn from some of the things that they're doing. We can always learn from other people and what they do. And so we've got some stories there, and then at the end, I'm going to really try to get across in a simple matter how to work a 30-day game plan. All right, it's really important in our business. We first of all, what am I doing? Happy July 1st to the Canadians, and happy 4th of July to the Americans. I almost forgot that. I'm so sorry. I just got to thinking because we're coming up into kind of a week of holidays, right? And so if we go into July without a plan and we get sidetracked right away with holidays and those type of things, we're going to find ourselves behind the eight ball as we set our goals for what we want to accomplish. So what we train about is all intentional. I think those of us that have the privilege of training, we've all gotten around other great leaders and we've watched what they've done, when they've done it in the month, how they executed, and we replicated, right? And so there is a strategy behind everything. I thought it'd be a great topic to talk about tonight, how to set a 30-day game plan, and we'll talk about some of those things. But before we do that, let me bring on a few people here that honestly, their stories are inspiring. I mean, I want to bring on Michael Barker first and foremost here. This is a dear friend of mine, industry leader. I don't want to steal his thunder and say too much, but he set a goal last month, and it was a BHAG. It was a big, hairy, audacious goal. And guess what? We didn't quite make it. We didn't. But you know what we did? We came barreling into June with a whole ton of Momo. And this business is much easier with momentum than without it. And I think we might cross the finish line this month. I don't want to steal thunder though. But listen, this is from someone that turned his disappointment and mapped out a 30-day plan for June and went out and executed it day by day by day. So I think he has a lot of great things to share. He's got a team that's rank advancing that he's going to introduce here, and just leading by example, just making it happen. And just so you know his story, and I'm sure he'll tell you, but he does other things besides this at the moment, and he just weaves NPG into his life, but he makes it a priority. And so therefore he's getting results. Go figure, right? So Michael, look at him. He's in his Taekwondo outfit there. He's about ready to go teach some people how to master that skill. His name is actually Master Michael Barker. He's one of the top Taekwondo people in Canada and attends these conventions for that sport all around the world. And he's just a teacher and a great example of how to lead in this profession. So thanks for joining us, Michael. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Mark. First of all, nothing happens without team. So I want to acknowledge all the team, especially teammates that are on this line with me right now. We are a team together, and we all go through our flows and we go through our excitements and we go through our frustrations. And I think everybody on the line would agree that we have all of that going on at all times in the business. Because when you have desire and you have goals, sometimes you want to move faster than what everybody else wants to move. It feels like sometimes. And you just kind of like, okay, they're not ready yet, but who's next? And I think one of the things, like I went for goal last month in May, came up pretty short actually, but it was a great learning experience, finding out who the players are on your team, who wants to go for it for themselves. And I think one of the biggest things is setting the goal, but also including the team on the goals. Let people know where you're going, where you're at, and and just do the work day in and day out. This month here, I set a pretty heavy goal, and I teach martial arts. I do some other things right now, and building the team. And the goal was to accomplish certain volumes. And I broke it down to the days where I knew that if I'm going for the diamond level, I need to, with some cushion, maybe not, an average of about 700 QV per day is what I thought. 30 days straight, 700 QV goals per day. Not me by myself. That's a lot to ask for. So it's about the team. Who in the team wants to rank advance? Who in the team wants to be at the silver level? Who wants to be at the gold level, the bronze level? It doesn't matter up to the platinum level. And we have some people that have accomplished that. And then it comes to sapphire and rubies. And so it's finding out what people's goals are. And sometimes it's the simplest goals of 2 or 3 people can make a huge difference going for the silver level. And I think some people forget about the smaller levels, the beginning levels. Let's gain confidence, number one, of our new beginners. Let's get them confident in being able to talk with people, setting up appointments, doing three-way calls, doing Zoom calls, introductory calls to the team, little things that make a difference for the brand new beginner. Because once the brand new beginner gets going, or a seasoned veteran who's just getting going in a new business because it's new, how does the comp plan work exactly? How did that QV add up? Where does it flush? Where does it not flush? All these little things. So it all goes together. And I think one of the biggest things that I did in this month so far is working with the team and finding out the goals, but also paying attention inside of their goals. Someone's at 6 new enrollments. Do they need 2 more customers? Do they need 2 more ISRs? Are they going to hit their gold level? Not to push them to go to platinum, sapphire, or ruby right away, but are they going to hit that level? So recognizing, I think if we recognize what people are doing in our team and pay attention in your back office, and you see somebody that's 1 away, 2 away, maybe they're not active at the end of the month, which I have a bunch of messages that went out of my people to make sure that they're active. And I set a goal on that active status of how many people will I have active this month, personally enrolled. And I hit that goal because I made sure that it was on top of mind. So these are the things that I feel that are really important. So when you're goal setting, Mark knows this because I phone him every day, sometimes 3 times a day. And then when he doesn't answer, I go, what is he doing? No, I'm just kidding. He's busy. No, I phone all the time. My group of people that I work with, they phone me too. Some check in, some are there for business, some are there for, hey, how do I do? What do I do? When do I do? And we have to make sure we're available. And of course, you have when you set a goal, you're out of balance. We know that. I've been out of balance all month. I've been getting, going at 6 a.m. and to bed at 11:30, sometimes 12 at night, sometimes 1 in the morning. setting the goals, doing the things, setting up the next day, and jumping right at it every single day. No days off because you're out of balance. You're setting a goal. It's just like when I went up to a tournament in Prince George this weekend. I had to do an international course for our Federation for British Columbia, and three other masters or two other masters and myself. We did a thing after a BC tournament, and we had to drive 9 hours George from down near Kelowna here, and I was on my phone the whole time because I was a passenger. I made sure that happened. I was able to work while I was going up there. I was able to work when I was coming back, and during the day, checking the text messages, making sure things are happening. You have jobs, you have things in your life that you're doing. You want to make sure that you're scheduling or at least touching base with people. And if you leave a phone message, like I leave a lot of phone messages, I leave text messages, and if they don't answer, sometimes I'm pleased that they didn't answer. They're thinking about me, and it keeps you at top of mind when they're doing something during the day. I know they're not in their heads because they hear me do it, and then they go, "Oh, the sneaky guy." No, just keeping it reach their goals. So that's kind of the things. If you haven't, yeah, that's kind of the goal setting atmosphere I have in my brain.
Well, brother, you've made some really good points that you've brought across. You're in constant communication with your team. You've identified the ones that have goals. You've helped them set it, right? You're paying attention. They hear from you. You're clear on you're leading by example on your personal, ISRs and their monthly orders. You are like a master of the follow-up. I know a lot of us, we tend not to follow up because it's a follow us to the belief issue. We want to be told no or any of those things, but actually people want to be led, right? They want to be led, they want to be wanted. And so the blessing is in the follow-up. And you are so good at that. And I've incorporated some of the things you've done. I've started to send out video messages to people of myself. Like Michael probably has an entire camera roll full of videos of himself, of messages he sent out to people. It's that personal touch, right? And he was telling me earlier, in one of our mini calls that he says, people know when they're getting a video from me, they know what this is about. They know I'm communicating with them for a purpose, right? I mean, I think all of us have had that time when we felt uncomfortable in the relationship that no one or the other has reached out to each other. And so you don't really, it's awkward when you want to kind of prospect someone or that's your agenda. And, how do you start the conversation without looking like you have an agenda and all those things? He says, man, these people hear from me so frequently, they know what my agenda is, and they're people that know, like, and trust me, and so they respond. The weak people that don't fit that category, he doesn't message them. He keeps the circle tight, right? He knows what it is. So I just thought that was some really valuable insight. And Michael's worked very closely with some of his team that he's going to introduce right now. And again, this is a guy that has burning desire, a willingness to work hard, and is 100% coachable and teachable. He's like a 25-year veteran of the industry, yet constantly asking, can I run something by you? What perspective do you see this? What do you think about this? Right? You need a running mate in this business. You do. You need a running mate. And sometimes it's not our sponsor. In this situation, it is, but sometimes it's not. Reach up and find. Sometimes we go outside. Maybe we go cross line. We just need a running mate, someone that we can do this business together with and never stop learning. Like Megan said, that's so good. So, Michael, why don't you introduce us to some of your key builders here and excited to watch them grow. What, Robert?
All
Yeah,
that I see on here, or who?
introduce Robert for us, please, if you
Okay,
can.
excellent. Well, first of all, I would love to introduce Robert and Joy, Arthur. They're absolutely amazing people. I was prospecting and working with this amazing group of people. Can you guys, excuse me, guys, can you just hold off for a moment? Yeah, thanks. Sorry, the class is starting. Um, uh, my little guys are here. Robert and Joy are absolutely awesome. I've known these fellow Robert and Joy for a few decades, and we're always crossing around in other businesses together, and we were in the same business all across the line. We'd always be willing to help each other in anything that we did, and we just really got along great. And these two are faith-based individuals, are absolutely amazing. They have hearts of gold. They care about their team. They care about people. In just absolutely a blessing to work with, and I'm just so grateful that it worked out to where we could actually partner up and be teammates and running mates. And, you know, like I do with Mark, Robert and Joy, we touch base all the time too. And we're always just, we got experience, but we bounce things around us. And so I'll introduce Robert and Joy. Arthur from Granbury, Texas. And thank you guys so much. And I appreciate everything that you guys are about and what you're doing and what you bring to the team and to the MPG. So thank you all. Thanks. A
Thank
bow.
you, Master Barker. Yes. Michael, you're so awesome. You're so real, and I just appreciate how you show up, every day for yourself, not just for yourself, your kids, your team. We feel like feel like you're my brother from another mother. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate you, man. Yes. Mark, is my audio okay? Okay, just making sure. So when Mark reached out, hello everybody, by the way, and by the way, you're doing what my buddy Jim Rhodes and I always say, you're doing what 95% of the planet don't do. You're showing up. So you're showing up. Thanks for being here. Our time is one of our most precious and priceless gifts that we have to invest in ourselves and others. So thank you for honoring that. So Mark reached out earlier today and asked me to share a few nuggets and insights into how we've made this fun run. And it's always we, and always that's the beauty of this team, isn't it? This community that we're running with. So, and Mark, you're reminding us of that, and Michael. So thank you, and yeah, obviously beautiful, Miss Karen Ford, the epitome of servant leadership. Thank you, Miss Karen. So a couple key points. Here's how my noggin works. Here's my flow. When you talk about goals, I hear goals, but it seems like it's something I hear in training and teaching. I tend to think more in flow, if that makes sense. So it's how I look at life and how I structure my business. So here's my flow on the way to Ruby in this last month. So number one, I made a decision. I made a decision 3.5 months ago to plant my flag. Like, this is my home. And I said, okay, if it's my home, what do we do with our home? We love it. We protect it. We clean it up. We cherish it. Okay. And it's a sacred place. So I made a decision. And number two, I committed. One of my favorite quotes is from Goethe. He says, I'm going to paraphrase the quote, but it's the essence of it is, when we commit, all manner of unforeseen circumstances show up to just to help us flow in that direction of our goals and our intention, that beautiful law of attraction. So I committed to the process of doing what I know a leader does in this business, and I committed to doing what other leaders who are role models that in my life and business do. Okay, so I decided, and then I committed, and then I focused. This is the big point. Number three, I had an epiphany. How many of us had epiphanies in life that it was maybe simple concepts, but has made huge differences. Yes, a ripple effect in your life. Okay, and one of my big ones from Dr. Covey, he teaches that we have this circle of, I picture three circles like just two circles, like a bullseye, a kind of smaller circle in the middle and a bigger circle. And what most people focus on is the circle of concern. And so I did decide to, then when you focus on the circle of concern, that's what we cannot control. The people who we want to help, we have an intense desire to help, and they're just not open. They're not ready. Yes. So if we focus on the circle of concern, we become powerless and it drains us. So thank goodness I had some of those key mentors teach me that. So when I stepped into this month to run to Ruby in the last 3 months to step into that goal, then I was able to focus on the circle of influence. The circle of influence is people that are open to the gift that I'm sharing with them. Okay, so I became very intentional in I can focus all over the place, or I can simply specifically pray for and attract and connect with the people that are the door is open. Their minds and their hearts, they're open to something that can bless their life versus just having a closed mind. And that liberated me many years ago. And hopefully, if you can embrace that, it can liberate you because that's the way that God made our universe. Okay. And I would challenge you to reach out to some of Dr. Covey's teachings on that principle. And then step number 5, I got really clear on my who list. Dr. The Whoville. So if we hop into our car, or you can pop into your car too. If we hop into our car and we decide to go to a specific destination and we ignore the GPS, we don't even put anything, we've never been to this place before, and but we have this law of attraction acting, but we don't put it in the GPS, what's going to happen? Everything else but the destination. What if the same principle applies to the people we desire to be in partnership with? So on my way to Ruby this month and on my way the last 3 months in MPG or my home, I got really clear on who I was looking to attract, who I was looking for Spirit to lead me to. Because I say it in my prayer, Father, thank you in advance for bringing into my life the people and resources from expected and unexpected sources. Believe me, a lot of these people and resources that have showed up the last few weeks have come from unexpected sources. Several of my enrollments are just a call out of the blue, seemingly, and because I was, activating these laws, and I was praying for this type of, my tribe to show up. They would just call me. We'd have a conversation. I would share the tools. Some just we connected and then they signed up on the spot. But again, that's that low-hanging fruit. So I got really clear on my who list, and I would challenge you to do the same thing. And my honeybee will tell you, my who list is everywhere. When I first started in this industry, I put my who list on my steering wheel of my car. It was on the bathroom mirror. It was on my office window. I know exactly the tribe, and I'm calling them out. So when you speak of goals, that to me is totally in alignment with goals, Mark, and those listening, is because I know specifically the people that will help me achieve those goals is the point. Otherwise I'm going to go everywhere and attract everybody else but those people that I would invite home for dinner. One of my simple questions I'm asking myself when I connect with people is this the kind of person I would invite over for dinner with my kids or my grandkids? And if I question that, we want to reconsider our who list. Okay, and then I just decided to consistently step into the boots, and I'll just close this with this because I want to hear from the two amazing ladies. I stepped into 3 boots. One is my enroller boots, my co-creator boots, and my networker boots. And what I mean by enroller, I did these things very consistently the last few weeks on the way to Ruby. And without doing these things, there's no way I would have fallen short. Okay. I reached out very consistently, pretty much daily. I was validating when I would reach out to people. I would find ways to validate and compliment them. If you're ever stuck, you don't know how to approach somebody, it's really, really simple. Pay them the keyword is genuine compliment. Look at them. Hey, you have sharp, there's countless, a million compliments, genuine. And then I was inviting people, I was booking my chats. Remember, between inviting and sharing the tools, I always teach my team and remind myself that if I don't have a call booked with these people on my way to Ruby this past month, then I'm chasing it. Have you watched the video? Have you seen it? Have you watched it? Even though I'm getting dings, I'm still chasing them versus having the call booked. So I was doing that consistently. And then I was obviously sharing the tools. Don't be a fool, use the tool. And I definitely strive to live that one. I was connecting with people, a genuine connection. What are you looking for? If I were to wave a magic wand, what are you looking to step into? What would you love for us to be celebrating 2 weeks from now, 30 days from now, 90 days from now? And then turn these two things on, and listen. So I was connecting with people consistently on the way to Ruby this month, and I was then obviously enrolling. And then I stepped into, remember, our work begins when we enroll people. So I committed to that. I had my coaching call booked. Whenever I enroll anybody, my team will tell you, I have my coaching call already on the calendar. I'm not going to leave that to chance, because if I don't, I have no idea how they're using their products, etc., their belief. I'm showing them that I really care. I'm not just looking for that upfront sale. I'm not just a sponsor monster. Okay, there's plenty of those. So and then I committed to expanding, helping my customers and team members expand their belief, and in process, I'm expanding my belief. And then that's my enroller hat. Remember, we all are the boots. I put the boots on. We can all be enrollers, but the path to the gems, sapphire, ruby, diamond, etc., a lot of people can get to platinum by just putting the boots on and enrolling. But these other two boots, or the hatch, if you want to call it a hat, are fundamental to our gems. Remember, we go from metal to gems, bronze, silver, gold, and then here we have the gem ranks. And so the two boots are co-creation. I can be a co-creator or not, and I can be a networker or not. Co-creator is the biggest boots or hat to put on, because then I'm training, I'm mentoring. There's a huge difference between just coaching somebody and mentoring somebody. When I step into mentorship, I have to be living and walking the dang walk. Otherwise, I'm just a speaking head, a talking head. Meaning, if I'm not living, if Karen Ford, is Karen Ford a mentor?
Mhm.
She is a true mentor, because what? She walks her walks and she shows up and she lives it. Okay. So I committed to co-creating with my team, which is essential to building this volume that Michael was talking about with his team. And that's why one reason we love Michael is because he is a co-creator. Michael is a massive enroller, but he is a beautiful co-creator, because he's showing up and pouring belief and vision casting, investing time and pouring belief into others. And then the last pair of boots that I put on the way to Ruby this month was my networker. We're in network marketing. Yes, we're in marketing, but to be a networker, that means we're a connector, and we connect like-minded people. We connect even connecting my vision and mission to somebody else's mission and vision. And speaking of that, I want to introduce, speaking of connecting on visions and purpose and belief, Michael and Mark, can I introduce one of the ladies, and then Michael, you can introduce, is that okay? All right. So I'm going to introduce the lady that I literally just met about 6 weeks ago. Her and her amazing, 5 weeks ago now, just a few weeks ago. Her and her amazing hubby Jason, and her name is April. And you'll fall in love with this lady in about a minute. Why? Because she shows up authentically, and she was a bit nervous tonight when I first reached out to her. Um, when I first reached out to her, she thought I was just asking Michael and Mark and Leishan here in a minute. We're just asking her to hop on a chat, just us 4 or 5 to talk. And she thought I was wanting her to hear some things and contribute. And then when she realized she was getting on Miss Ford's call, it's like she called me like, "Oh, what do I do?" And I said, I simply said, "April, you are brilliant and you are powerful. Any other story you're telling yourself is from the deceiver." She's a faith-based woman, so I can talk that language. And so she said, "Okay, I'm ready." So she's a mother of 3 amazing kids from 16 to 20 years old. She's been married to her hubby for, again, 23 years. Beautiful marriage. She taught kindergarten. What do we do in our business to be an effective mentor, coach, and trainer? Yes, we're that teacher, and a teacher is the best teachers are the best students. And April is a beautiful student, and she's known this friend for many years who happened to reach out to her. So let's see if she's unmuted. So Kendall, can you make sure April is unmuted? Miss April Evans. April, you may have to unmute because I'm not. Let's see here.
She's not on, is she?
Yeah, let me
I
make
don't
sure
see
she
her
is.
on.
Yeah, I saw her on earlier. Okay, there she is. She's talking away. April, I'm going to ask you to unmute. No, I can't do that.
Okay. I'm gonna
Kendall,
make
look
you
for,
co-host. I'm gonna make you co-host, Arthur. There we go.
okay, sounds good. And then see if I
There you
can.
go. Now you can do it.
Okay, April, you've been asked to unmute, my friend. Go ahead, April, we can hear you.
Hi guys, how are y'all?
We
Actually,
are
gosh,
wonderful,
we're-
wonderful. So thanks for being here, April.
thank you. And yeah, I just want to just say thank you for letting me. Definitely a little nervous, but we're gonna get through this. But anyway, he Robert is right. As you just heard everything that he just spoke about, I have probably been a good package for him. So he has taken me a full month into this. I will have to say that when he was speaking about a friend, I actually called a friend to ask her about something totally different. And it was another product. And she told me about this. And I was able to just be like, I had a peace come over me like no other. And so, anyway, with that being said, I jumped right in. She's not quite as active as just at the moment. So Robert just has been wonderful. It's crazy to see what leaders, I know many of you on here are major leaders, and I'll have to give y'all kudos because I'm going to give every bit of this glory to God because two things about me that I said since I was born. I would never speak in front of adults, and I will never share something like ask people for stuff. So here I am, and I feel like it has been placed in my lap. So I was like, okay, I don't know network marketing. I really don't know anything about it. But the trainings and the things that y'all had, I just made me a list. I woke up every morning and went straight to my Zoom list of what I needed to do. And I thought I was getting on those Zooms for training. And I did, but I'm going to tell each and every one of you that speak, you stole my heart. And I mean that from, I want to scoop y'all up. Y'all would speak, and from the mornings to the afternoons to the evenings, as you spoke, all I could do is just be like, I want more of them. I want more of everything they've got. So I couldn't wait. And then some of you, I would see were on the Zooms a lot. So I followed you through.
Okay, she froze
My
momentarily. Okay, April, you were frozen for a moment, but now you're back. Go ahead.
Okay. And so, anyway, I just want to tell you that that just made me extremely comfortable. I appreciate it because I wanted to also join this company to be around like-minded people, and I could see that. And I just thank y'all for what I've learned through each one of you as well. So,
Yes. Thank you, April. And so you did about two or three key fundamental, many things, but there was two or three that stand out to me. Number one, you were nervous about it, but you did your very first Facebook Live for the first
yeah.
time.
Mhm.
And remember, I interviewed you and you were all nervous about it, but you stepped fully into it and you did a great job. Many of your enrollments would reach out to you and say, April, I watched your full video, and then you shared a tool. And so that that really served a role, didn't it? To kind of put your sign out for people.
Yes, it really did. Even though I was kind of like, are you sure? Because I don't know what I'm going to say. And you're like, let's roll with it. And so, yeah, that was kind of my initial. And I think people doing the Facebook Lives, um, I thought personally, who's going to watch all that? You know, if they don't really know yet, but they did watch it. And I think it also tells who you are. And it really helped. So yes, they could truly see my heart because now I have my own testimonies with things. And so now it's easier to share for sure.
Yeah, that's true. But you just hit the ground running before you had that story. So yeah, kudos to you, my friend. And I would say the biggest, I know everybody builds differently, but the biggest, what we call sandbox or your biggest strategy where you generated the majority of your leads. We just borrowed, didn't we borrowed material from other leaders, didn't we, April? And we made it compliant. And I know one day you had posted something and I said, April, do you mind? Are you open to something? And we got on a Zoom and we made it compliant because we want this company to be around for our kids, yes, our grandkids. But we had the courage and the consistency to post consistently. And it wasn't just posting and praying, was it?
No.
No, we actually did what? What have you done on your run to platinum and sapphire your first month in this company that you feel like was foundational before we bring on the other lady here?
Do you mean Sharon for sure? Like,
Yeah, I mean, meaning you took action.
oh,
You didn't just post and pray, and nothing's wrong with that. We want to post and pray, but
yeah.
then again, you got in Messenger, you made the calls, you reached out, you were on live, you had live conversations with human beings.
Yes, yes. And that is kind of hard to do at first, because you're just like you don't know if they're going to say yes or no. And I think at first I felt called, so I had more confidence that if I were to hear a no, but more than anything, I feel like I've grown spiritually through this by also watching a lot of you in your Zooms and you speak, but just totally start my day giving it to the Lord. And now if they tell me no, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I look at it like that's God's timing. It's not right for them at the time. So I'm okay with a no now. When before I feel like it definitely would have shut me down. Like, oh no, what's wrong with the product? What's da da da, and now it's just like, okay, here we are. But yes, it sharing and the more I have done this month, the more confident I am to just share it. I got some business cards today and I'm ready to go. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
good.
you're just such a joy to work with. I do want to add one little thing to before we hand it over back to Michael and Mark is that April, how important was that first event? Remember, we had it was God's timing, but we had that event just like five days after you came on, didn't even have your product yet. Byron was the speaker, and Janet was there, and some other leaders. Actually, Sam Castor was there. It was such a blessing. Yeah, can you just before we hand it up back to Michael, how did that event affect you in this run to Sapphire your first month?
Okay, so it affected me two different ways. And so first, yes, it lit me on fire and I could see them and the speakers that were there were wonderful. And just to actually hear it in the room, I was like, oh, I've got this because I really wanted to start telling people about it in the parking lot as I walked out. Like it was good. Matter of fact, oh my goodness. So we stopped at the restaurant coming home and we shared it with two people there. The lady that waited on us and the people that were sitting next to us. So it just made it easy. And then but I will have to say too, I was just getting into this. So you've got to picture being a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. So all my kids know is me being and my husband, but I have been there, right? And now I've just been praying for a new purpose. This came in my life, but um for them to see me at first, like jumping on Zoom, my time has gone a little bit elsewhere. It's just kind of different. But I took my husband, he happened to have gone. I was like, will you just go with me? And he went too. And there has not, like, it has been so easy. It's just even my kids, we were able to speak to them about it. And they're like, Mom, you go do what you need to do, and I just think they saw the vision too.
Yeah, so you've enrolled your love posse, a friend called it, but your community of loved ones and your vision. So that's priceless. April, you're a joy. Yeah, anybody on the line doubt that her sincerity and her you see her energy, she's positively contagious. So April,
And I'm
you're such a joy to
shaking. We can see me shaking.
yeah. That's what makes you real.
It's gonna
So
get better.
yeah, well, the sky's the limit, my friend, because you're doing this for the right reason. So Michael and Mark, back to you. I mean
Michael, do you want to unmute yourself and just introduce our next guest? Do you want me to? Okay. Hey, listen, guys, that was an inspiring testimonial, that's for sure. That's the reasons we plug into these things, right? Like just hearing stories of people that have never done this industry that are passionate. One of my favorite sayings is activity doesn't lie. you do the work in this business, and the work in this business is talking to people. It's having those conversations, right? It's not necessarily posting and praying. It's engaging. It's caring enough to tell someone about what you're excited about and the reasons why. Activity doesn't lie. You do the work, the results come, and they come from the most unexpected sources. And for me, that's the thrill, right? Never knowing like who's going to embrace this thing. But for Robert and Joy, April was the thrill, right? They didn't realize they up 5 weeks ago that she was coming into their life and how much of a blessing this partnership was going to be, right? You see how this works, right? But Robert went out and talked to people, not knowing April and her husband even existed. And here we are, right? So it is a huge blessing in how that works. So thank you very much, Robert, for Enjoy, for both being on here and for all of your incredible inspiration and guidance. It's amazing. And I know you've played a role too in this next person that's a part of your team as well, Leishan. Leishan, I would do you a disservice if I attempted to give your whole bio. So maybe you can just tell the listeners here a little bit of your background. I know you're a professional golfer, and I know you do, I think, personal training, and I know you are a great enroller, and you're just an awesome human.
Oh,
And
oh, I
so,
think
oh,
did I get unmuted?
you did. Yeah, take it away.
May I? I've been trying to
Yes.
unmute for a little while. Okay, I just thank you, Mark. Thanks for filling in for me for a moment, like we always do each and every day of the month. uh, Two things. One of them is right off the start. When I started the MPG business, I was thinking of Leishan. She just popped in my mind several times, and my attitude is I act on what I think. I act on what my gut says to do. And so I just reached out and not talking to her for a number of years, met her in another business years ago, and I always remembered the energy and the smile and just the great heart and just enthusiasm towards life. And one of the things that I did was I reached out to Lishan and we talked, and she enrolled. She was looking for something too. Leishan's a personal trainer. She's a golf pro. She's LPGA, all the good things. I even make a phone call once in a while when I'm attempting to golf. I say, hey, how do I stand again? Anyways, it's all the things that you look for in a person that is got goals and who has influence on people in a positive, gentle way and is always caring about people. So Leishan got started with me and she went gun ho, like just enrolling her friends, her people she cares about, and finding the builders to go with. And we always talk and just can't have anything better to say than just thank you for being part of the team. And one of the biggest things I can say is when you have a new teammate, introduce them to a number of people in your team. Don't just one-on-one all the time. They need to see other people. Leishan has learned from Robert and Joy. Leishan has learned from April. Leishan has learned from Mark, myself. We work as a team, and I think that's what a lot of people miss when they're going for goals. So we have to think about team. So take it away, Leishan, little rock star.
You with us?
Okay, I just asked you to unmute, Leishan. You should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I have an interesting, different story than a lot of people. I have been in network marketing on and off my entire life, although I can't say I ever built a successful team. But when I enjoy something or love a product, I share it. And I'm not shy about it. I just am constantly sharing information with my tribe. And as Michael said, I'm a golf pro and a personal trainer. And so I have a pretty good tribe in my personal training business. So as soon as I started with Marketplace Global and went on Fix, I was so excited about what could happen and very quickly had some results with my hair stopped falling out. That had been something I had been searching for after menopause. And when that happened, I mean, I honestly was already sharing it with my tribe. Oh my gosh, I found something and talking about what it could do. And I had a number of people enroll. And Michael would call me and say, hey, you enrolled another person. Yeah, you just hit this or you just hit that. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And he says, you should go for platinum this month. And I'm like, Michael, I just do the process. If I hit platinum with the process, it happens. But he planted the seed, right? And I'm extremely competitive. And being a golf professional and playing golf my whole life, he planted the seed, and it was enough for me to keep an eye on. And I just continued to do the process, which was invite, share a tool, follow up. And I just continued to do that. And I did it with people that I thought of initially, my tribe, of course, and then I started creating a list. So for me personally, this phone is everything. I live by my calendar. I run 3 businesses, one of which I'm going to say is I still play tournament golf. It's summer. Guys, I am slammed. I am so busy. You have to figure out how to do this in the pockets of your time. And I mean, I would be on a 10-minute break and I'm shooting a text to somebody or following up with somebody. You just make it happen. And I went sapphire in basically my first month here, and I am absolutely swamped with my golf, my fitness, and my tournament play. I just tried to qualify for the US Open last week. I did take that week off. But unfortunately, I did not qualify this year, but I will next. So my tip, I have this list, and it says people to reach out to. This is a running list. This list is getting longer and longer because I have a tendency to follow, each person I'm going to reach out to, and I'm going to talk to, reconnect with, whatever it might be. As soon as I get to the point where I share a tool, then I move them to my Marketplace Global list. I talk about their name, the date that I reached out, what I sent to them, and that gives me an idea of when to follow up. And so then once they enroll, I have a whiteboard right over here in my office, and I write that down, and I write the date that they start Fix. Now I can start dripping on them about the other products and how amazing this company is. So while I don't set goals in regards to how big I grow, I will tell you that none of this would have happened without Michael and Robert and Mark, because all 3 of them poured love into me and poured belief into me and helped me with anything that I needed and any objections. And Michael, especially, we talk every single day, and he is just right on there saying, hey, how about this? And he just gives you that to move forward. So if you see somebody like me, who's kind of a crazy person on fire, just going by the seat of their pants, check in with them. What can you give them? How can you help? I just can't thank these guys enough, because I had a bad day, get those no's, like April said, and you're like, is this right? What am I doing? I didn't even mean to get into another business, but I just love this company. It's just amazing. So I had a bad day. I'm kind of down. Michael calls me, and I'm like, I had like 3 people quit in the same day. And he goes, all right, no big deal. Let's move forward. And so, he just brought me right back up again. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not about them. This is about me helping more people. How can I reach out and help more people? And so therefore I continue to move forward. And I mean, the first month, I have to say I didn't plug in a whole lot, but now I'm really plugging in on this second month and listening to all you amazing leaders. I'm having so much fun learning from you all. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Well, Lisa, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Your energy is contagious, and congratulations on your success. Man, we're so glad we got your competitive spirit here. It's going to turn out really well. So thank you. And thank you to everyone that shared tonight. It's been amazing. I just appreciate each and every one of you, Michael, Robert, and Joy, April, Alicia. Thanks again for pouring into everyone tonight. It's been awesome. And you've given us a lot of insights into what you've been doing to be successful, and some tips and some stories to share with other people. which are really strong and powerful. So thank you guys all. I'm just going to put a few closing thoughts here on how to really set a 30-day goal as we wrap up here in the next 6 minutes, if that's okay. So a new month's upon us. We're in the summertime. We're coming into summer, right? This business, this industry is kind of cyclical, right? We have seasons where things really move forward, and we have seasons that are a little bit tougher, right? Like June, July, and August, December, not always the easiest, right? So we want to make sure we plan for that stuff. And it's going to go the way that we decide it's going to go at the end of the day, right? We can sit here and make excuses and accept, or we can just jump right in. I'll tell you, I joined 3 network marketing companies in December. 3. It's because most networkers, here's a hot tip for you guys if you want to recruit networkers. Most networkers are in an evaluation process in December. They're playing the year back in review. They're not satisfied with the results they've got, and their mind just might be a little bit more open because they don't want to repeat it again the next year. December is a prime recruiting month. Just like Sunday nights are a prime night to prospect. You know why? Most people aren't out partying. They're at home getting ready and dreading going to a job that they don't want to go to for another week until the weekend rolls around again. You catch them. They're at an open season in space for years and years in this profession. My Sunday nights were precious. Like that I accomplished more in those 3 hours than I do a lot of the rink because you catch a lot of people. You catch them home, you catch them open. So that was a little tangent in a different direction on recruiting, but it's a new month. Summer's coming. Let's have a plan, right? We failed to plan. We plan to fail is what happens, right? So we want to set new goals. There's usually a 60 to 90-day delay based on our activity and our effort, meaning that's when we'll usually see the results from the effort we exert today, tomorrow, this month. So if you want to have a good like October, you got to have a good July, right? That's kind of how it works. See the target, hit the target. How can you possibly hit a target you can't see? You'll miss it every single time. So you've got to have yourself a goal, okay? Let me encourage you to get intimately acquainted with this document right here. Can you see this? This is the compensation plan. I know not all of us are numbers orientated, but you are doing this, you're on this Zoom, I would think because you want to earn an income through NPG. That would be my assumption. You're running a business. You've got to know your numbers. You got to know how to make money. And I understand that for some people, it might seem like Greek to you. I mean, it might. But guess what? You got a little saying, training doesn't work, work trains. Meaning, if someone like Michael grabs you and says, we're going gold, right? Because now you have a $20 cycle instead of a 10 and a 15, and you're leaving money on the table, right? At bronze and silver, guess what? Do you think you're pretty confident after you hit gold of showing someone else how to get to gold? Yes, it builds our success muscles, right? You get that much more in tune. We don't teach what we don't do ourselves. Typically, we just don't. So learn this thing, print it off. Man, for years I'd take the compensation plans to bed with me, right? Waiting for my wife to come to bed. I'd be studying this thing, hauling it around. I take all sorts of copious notes every time I'm on like a Zoom with Byron or Terry or Karen. Like I'm writing notes on what they say, like bullet points that I want to repeat when I'm recruiting networkers about the comp plan. Little things like that. So get really acquainted with this. All right. I love the fact that we're a simple model. We only paid 5 ways. That's one of the best things about this company. It's phenomenal. So get really acquainted with this, right? So if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere where you weren't thinking you were headed. That's kind of how it works, right? So don't compare yourself to others. Simply choose where you want to go and then add some activity to that. So what does that look like? This is the part where you might want to take some copious notes. I'm going to keep it simple and give you a game plan on how to work a 4-week plan. Number 1, decide what rank you want to be that month. It starts with a decision, okay? So that's where you need the comp plan, right? You can look at this plan. Again, it may not all make sense, but if you're going for gold, it will make sense at the end of the month when you hit it, right? So decide what rank you want to be. Number 2, work toward that goal and track it every 7 days. Focus on the 7th, the 15th, the 21st, and the 28th of each month. Michael talked about breaking his down by day. Remember, he talked about 700 QB so he can arrive tonight at Diamond, right? It started June 1st. It didn't start today. I was on a conversation with one of our biggest leaders in Mexico this afternoon. And he said, you know what? We're going for some big goals, but we got a bit of a challenge. Mexico's playing in the World Cup tonight. We're always going to have World Cup games or distractions going on that pop up throughout the month. Those are inevitable. We can't avoid them. So we've got a plan, okay? We've got a plan the whole month out. So if we do the work at the beginning, we're not stressed out of our minds at the end. We just continue to work the flow of the process. Number 3, tracking will allow you to see what you are doing and what you need to tweak. I always call it refine and fix. We're in a refine and fix always. I always look back at what I did with the results I got. What do I need to refine and change? Is it my language? Is it my posture? Is it what I sent them? Is there something better I could have done? Right? Always in an analysis mode. So track your activity and what you're doing. And number 4, ask yourself weekly questions to track your progress. Here's the questions to ask yourself. How many people have I started a conversation with this week? These are IPAs, by the way. That's not what you find in your local bar. An IPA in our world is income producing activity. That's activities that yield to a direct result, right? Which is income. So number 1 is how many people have I started a conversation with this week? Number 2, how many reach outs have I done? How many people have I shared the product with? That's number 3. How many people have I ATM'd? That's adding them to our product testimonial group, right? Tagging them, messaging them, or taking them through the app, right? MPG Plus. How many follow-ups have I done? Remember, the blessing is in the follow-up. People want to be led. They want to be wanted. They want to be followed up on. They want to see that you're a professional, that they're joining a professional. They lean into that type of professional behavior. The blessings in the follow-up, guys and gals, okay? Make sure you do it. If you're scared to follow up, let's work on your belief. What you got your hands on here. If you're solid and confident in that, you want to follow up with every single human on this planet, right? Remember, the last thing is how many 3-way chats have you started with your prospects and your support team? Guess what? Of all these things I listed, who controls all those activities? You do. We're not relying on anyone or anything. We're not putting the fate of our business and ultimately the results that we're going to get by our actions into anyone else's hands. We can't control what other people do or don't do. I think that's one of the hardest lessons to learn in this profession. It really is. If we sit back and wait on other people, we're going to be sorely disappointed. Okay? We can control these things that we do. And so let's execute on that. And let's go out and have a month in July where we create this massive momentum. Shoot, what's happening July 10th beside my 33rd anniversary? Coffee's coming. Man, that's another reason to go talk to people. It gives you another reason to pick up the phone and start into the conversation, another touch point with your prospect, with your list, all of that stuff, right? There's great things happening this month that we're rolling out. We've got the Estes Park event, right? Another reason, another event to take in. We just got a lot of great things that we can build for in July, and that will carry your momentum to August. And that will get you through some of the toughest months of the summer, right? You can do it, but you got to go forward with intention. So with that, thank you guys all for hanging with us tonight. Hopefully you felt some of the love, you felt some of the heart, and thank you for celebrating with some of the successes that the team has had here. This is an incredible company. I know Marketplace Global might stand for Marketplace Global. In my mind, it stands for making people great. That's what we do here. And I just can't think of a better culture and company to be with. And let's all give a lot of love to Karen Ford and some healing prayer for her, right, as she recovers here. Thank you for being so committed to our success and welcoming us tonight too, Karen. We love you. And thank you to all. And I just going to turn it back to you. Kendall, did I use the one that wraps up or how does it go here?
That's Karen's department, but if you want to go ahead and close
Okay.
us out, I think she'd like that.
Okay. Well, we just did. Blessings to all of you guys. Thank you for all that contributed, participated tonight.
Have a great night, everyone.
One real quick announcement, Mark, before we go. This is Candace. Everybody, thanks for coming in. This has been a great call, as always. Just wanted to remind you all that next week is the first Tuesday of the month, and our own Double Diamond Rose Parma will be here training on for us, and it will be amazing. So make sure you put it on your calendar and be ready for us to be incredible next week. We're looking forward to it. All right, I love y'all.